Hey, it's Chris with Wild and Bearded. Just wanted to take a moment and go over kind of what's in my backpack. I get some questions sometimes about, hey man, you go hiking, what do you take out into the woods with you? How do you sleep? You know, what do you eat? Kind of things like that. So I just wanted to go through that. I want to pre-warn you from watching this video. If you know me, you know that I'm a super awkward guy. And it's even worse when I'm on camera, so I apologize in advance for that. So let's get into it. So I carry a Osprey Atmos 50. There are lighter bags than this all over the place. I was given this backpack by a friend of mine, and it works out for me. They're like a billion different bags you can get. One of the things that I love about this bag the most is the framing system. So Osprey developed what they call an anti-gravity frame system, which means basically is the load is not on your back, it's transferred through the frame of the actual pack itself. And it also lifts this, if you see it has a little bounce to it, it actually lifts the bag part away from your back, so it gives you a little bit of airflow that goes through that. I like that a lot. It's a 50-liter bag. Sometimes I can use a bigger bag, sometimes I could use a smaller bag, but this seems like a happy medium for me, and keeps me from carrying too much crap, and but does give me some headroom. So we'll flip it up here and talk about, so they don't fall out here, we'll talk about one of the things that I dislike about this bag. One of the things I dislike about the bag is the fact that the hip belts are kind of tight and cramped and kind of hard to unzip while it's on your back. If I had one critique, it would definitely be the hip belt pockets. So Osprey, if you're listening, fix those, make them a little bit bigger. Maybe something of the ULA Ohm 2.0 bags, and then send me a new one. Can you do that? Probably not. Alright, so in my right hip belt pocket, I have my Sword Squeeze water filtration system. Sometimes this stays attached to my water bottle, sometimes it's in a pocket, sometimes it's in my actual pocket. So it just depends, but usually it sits in this hip belt pocket. One of the things that I like to do is, so if you see this little cap right here, basically this threads into one side of the Sword Squeeze and then the other side threads onto my bottle, so I can keep this on my bag while I'm walking, and it can filter water as I'm hiking, so I don't have to stop and squeeze the water out of the bags. One thing I will say is I'm not impressed with the Sword Squeeze bags that came with it. I have had one bust. That could have been my fault, but I then since got some new bags, which I'll show you shortly, and those have not had any problems with thus far, so I would definitely recommend just getting the unit itself and then picking up some bottles or some bags after the fact. The only other thing I carry in this pocket is some hand sanitizer and my Leatherman. My Leatherman is a Leatherman Signal that I do not have in the bag. I think it's in my car. But this is just a bag that has some hand sanitizer in it. And that's pretty much it for that pocket. So we'll close that back up. And in this pocket, I keep a head net by Sea to Summit, I believe. It's just a bug net for your head. It fits under my hat and keeps the bugs out of my face if they're getting bad. They typically do, especially in Florida. I also keep my working map. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but this was my working map from the Road to Nowhere trail that I did earlier this year. But I just keep working maps in that pocket. I got some trash from the last hiking trip that I really need to take out of there. And I have some Burt's Bees mango butter lip balm. I used to take deodorant and put it inside the chapstick containers. However, like an idiot, I didn't mark them, and I accidentally tried to use the deodorant as a lip balm, and it didn't work out so well. So I don't do that anymore, and I don't recommend it at all. Well, I'm going to shove this in back in here. I also keep snacks in, one of the other pockets when I'm hiking. That way I don't have to reach into my bag and dig around for snacks. So I'm flipping this over. We'll start with the mesh pocket here. This is a Thermarest Z seat. I use this as a sit pad, as well as sometimes in my hammock I can get cold in my shoulders and in my feet area. So I use this to kind of supplement warmth in those situations. Works out pretty good. I've been, truth be told, I've been looking at actual camp chairs. One by REI makes one with their Co-op brand, as well as a Helix one. They're about a pound 10 ounces, something like that. I don't know if I will actually get one, but it's something I've been thinking about. Next up, I don't know why I have all three of these in here, probably just because, just kind of keep all my gear together. But these are microlight towels, or microfiber towels from Wildhorn Outfitters. I got these on Amazon. I think I paid $7 for all three of these. They come in these little, pouches, and 3 different sizes: small, medium, and large. Typically, I'll only bring the small towel with me if I'm going to somewhere where either it's going to be really hot and kind of muggy. I might bring a bigger towel, or if I'm going potentially swimming, I'll bring the larger one with me. These I mostly kind of hang off my pack, and they just float around like that. Let's see, these are the replacement bags for the Sawyer Squeeze I was talking about. These are by Evernew. They're 2-liter bags. So when I'm filtering, I'll kind of put it right here and attach it via one of the compression straps, and just filter the water as I'm walking. I don't do that a whole lot, but it's a nice thing it's a nice feature to have, kind of gravity fed. I think I have two of these in here. That's pretty much it. Usually when I'm actually hiking, I'll take my rain gear and put it in here if it's looking like it's going to rain. That way it can be easier accessible. I don't have to dig to the bottom of my pack. And these typically go in the brain of my bag. I'm not sure why they're in the mesh pocket, but they're in the mesh pocket. So I guess we'll talk about the trekking poles. These are from Foxtail Outdoor Gear. These are super lightweight and super cheap. I don't know how they're able to make these that cheap, but these are probably one of my favorite pieces of gear that I've gotten from Amazon. I think I paid $30 for these two, and typical, if you get like a Black Diamond, they're like $130 per pole for carbon fiber poles with cork grips. The cork grips I like because they keep your hands from getting all sweaty and nasty, and they also have this little rubbery grip, not really rubbery, but a soft rubber grip. So when you want to really dig in, like you're going up a steep hill or something, it gives you that extra to do that. So the only real thing I don't like about these is the top part. I don't know if you can see, but this little plastic piece here kind of slipped out of the top part. And sometimes if I'm not paying attention, when I go to put my hand in there, it can dig into my hand. So I may take some sandpaper and kind of smooth out those rough edges, but then again I may just leave it the way it is and pay more attention. So they have snap screw hooks, I guess you would call them. I'm not really sure the terminology, but they just have these little clips, and you screw and unscrew them, and then you screw them to tighten up. Screw them too tight, and then just snap back like that, and they don't go anywhere. So so far on all the trips that I've taken these on, they've performed extremely well, and I'm really happy about this purchase. So what I'll do is I'll start going through the brain pockets, starting with the outer brain. This is some Source branded insect repellent. I got this on sale. It was on REI, and I figured I'd give it a whirl. I used to use 100% DEET, but I got a reading one night on the internet about how bad DEET is for you, and so I figured I'd try something else. So this has worked pretty well so far. Don't have any complaints. It's not worse than DEET. So my glasses case with a little glass cleaning kit or a little towel thing inside, because I can't see and I have to take my glasses, and I cannot wear contacts because my eyes reject them. So this is a Black Diamond spot headlamp. Works pretty good. You know, when I have to do night hiking and stuff like that, I don't really have any complaints for this itself. But it's just I believe it takes AAA batteries. Yeah, it takes 3 AAA batteries, so I'll just bring extra AAA batteries with me just in case. And let's see what else we got here. I have no idea why I carry this. I've carried this same glow stick since 2003 is when I first put it in my old hiking backpack. And it's followed me in every single backpack I've had since. Haven't had to use it. Don't know, like I said, don't know why I still carry it, but I carry it for one reason or another, so I continue to carry it. And that's it for that pocket, so we'll shove this crap back in here. Then in my larger pack, usually carry snacks and stuff in here. So I have some trash bags that I use as rain protectors, and put my sleeping bags in these if it is raining. An extra trash bag. I have my toiletries kit, which include some wet wipes. They are biodegradable wet wipes, some biodegradable toilet paper, and then a toothbrush, toothpaste, and then my cat trail. Typically I will hike out all of my trash regardless if it's biodegradable or not. I'm not too keen in leaving trash into the woods that may or may not, last forever. Everybody has their own deals, and I just choose to hike out my trash. And that is it for there. One thing I don't remember if I talked about or not, but this is a Nike, I carry on the outside a Nike watch. This watch has been with me since 2004, I believe. It's a Tridex Tridex C3 watch. It doesn't do anything special. It keeps time and has a stopwatch. And that's pretty much it for that. So let's pop this open. So on the very top, I keep my food bag. This food bag is a, crap, I can't even remember the name. An Ursack. And inside of it I have a smell-proof bag called an OPSAC. They kind of work in tangent together. But how this works, instead of running a bear line and throwing that over a tree, you just kind of tie this off to a tree. And I'll link a video somewhere, either up here or up there, of showing you what it is. But there was 2 grizzly bears trying to get into this bag when they tested at some zoo, and they were unsuccessful in that fact. So if 2 full-grown grizzly bears can't get into this bag, I feel pretty confident that any bear that, usually hike where black bears are, so any black bears are not going to be able to get into it. But basically what you do is you do 2 figure-8 knots on the bag itself, and then do an overhand knot or some other knot, tying it to a tree, and then so there's 4 knots that you can't undo unless you have thumbs. So let's undo these figure-8 knots here. So as you can see, they cross each other here in the bag and then go through the other side. I'll take those out. So the first and foremost thing is my cook kit. So this is my cook kit. It's self-containing. This is a piece of Reflectix that I got off the side of the highway in Ponte Vedra. I actually ran out into the middle of the street to get it because, God forbid, I'd just go buy a whole roll of this at Home Depot or Lowe's for 15 bucks. This is a Toke 700 milliliter pot in a pot cozy that I have nested inside of all my cook gear. So we'll put this aside here. So to give you an idea of how this works, so I take this stove, I screw it on to the top here. I'm not going to turn it on because I'm inside, but so that sits right here. These little arms come out. I put my pot on top, turn this nozzle to let the propane out or butane, and it has a little igniter. I don't know if you can see it, but the little red igniter there. It makes a spark. If that ever decides to stop working, I can just use a match or what have you with it. But so far, I mean, this has worked pretty good for me. Typically, I just boil water and then pour whatever I'm cooking into a freezer bag. Bring the water to a boil. It takes about 8 minutes at the most if I fill all 750 milliliters in this pot. This pot does have little arms. They do get hot, so I use the stuff sack that came in with it as kind of like my hand protector. I do bring some gloves sometimes if I'm going to be building fires or whatever. If you could see on the top of that, that has what is called a hot lips. That's really just for protecting my lips if I were to drink, if I was bringing hot chocolate or maybe coffee or something like that. I don't drink coffee often, so. This is a Sea to Summit little measuring cup. I guess you could use it as a actual cup, but really I just use it for measurement. I like it because it nests in my Toke's pot with pretty much everything else. So I put my measurement cup, my Toke's pot, or my 100 gram butane canister, everything else on top. Put the lid in, and then put it back in the stuff sack. So it keeps it all pretty much, well in together. That's pretty much my cook kit. This is a bag that has Reflectix in it. I use this as a rehydration bag if I'm eating Mountain Home meals or anything like that, or if if my ramen noodles aren't cooking well enough or something. Inside of this bag, I keep my Sea to Summit spork. It's I think it's titanium, might be aluminum. Either way, super light. Has a carabiner that I've been meaning to take off, but haven't. This little Mylar bag, or it's not Mylar, what is it? Reflectix bag. I actually got at like a Halloween thing that we took my kid to a couple years ago. It was sitting on the couch or in the pantry, And I was asking my wife if she had anything like this, and then she threw this at me, so it worked out well. There's probably a lighter one that I can get, but it works. So here is my food bag. This has my snacks, there's a couple Mountain House meals, some ramen noodles, Pop-Tarts, a couple things of tuna, and oatmeal I think is in here. This is supposedly a smell-proof bag. I have a lot more food than I would typically take out if I was doing like a day hike or a 3-day hike or whatever, but I just have some food in here that is either leftover from my other hikes or stuff that I don't want to have to go buy again. There's some air in here. I need to squeeze that air out. So that's pretty much all there is in this bag. I'm going to put that over to the side. Next up, let's see, is my tarp for my hammock. I don't know what the actual name of this tarp is, but it's one that is made by Dutchware Gear. They're all made in the USA. My hammock suspension, my tarp, all of that comes from Dutchware Gear. In all the research that I did, I just like his products the best. They just fit my needs. I'll go into more detail about this hammock, or about my hammock and the suspension and the tarp in another video, but it's my tarp. Packs down pretty well. So we'll put that to the side. Let's see, next up is my hammock. So this is my hammock body. Comes in a double-sided stuff sack. This side is my head end, noted by the red cord, and this is my foot end, noted by this gray cord here. It just lets me know, where my head should go, where my feet should go. This is a half bug net hammock, so the bug net doesn't cover me fully. It comes to right about here on my chest. I like that better than a full bug net. One, it's lighter, and two, I don't have any zippers to fool with. It comes with a little cinch, and I can just pull it up and down to fit my needs. My bottom quilt, or my top quilt, acts as kind of my bug protection, if you will. Doesn't work all the time, especially if it's really hot, but I spray my whole hammock down with Permathin, so that deters bugs from landing on me and stuff like that. So it works out for me. Let's see what else I got here. So this is my pillow / down jacket. It kind of zips up into itself. It's made by REI. It's a 600 down fill jacket, I believe. Either 600 to 650. But it zips up into itself into its own pocket, which is pretty nifty. So you just kind of fold it out like that and close back up the pocket. This is REI's Co-op brand. I got it for $40 at an REI garage sale, and works pretty good for me. It doesn't have a hood. I would like it to have a hood, but I have a beanie for that, and it works out okay. But that's the REI jacket. With typically any down, you don't want to compress it for days at a time. So I'll just leave that over there. I use it as, like I said, not only my pillow, I use it as a pillow for my hammock. Some people, don't bring pillows, but I like to have a pillow sometimes. Sometimes I don't, and if I don't, I just throw it to my feet or drop it down to below my hammock where my bag sits, on top of a trash bag or inside of a trash bag, just depending on the weather. So this is a stuff sack by Sea to Summit. It's a Sil nylon, I think. It has all my clothes, has my rain suit. I won't go into too much detail of my clothes, but I'm going to put it together like a gear list that kind of breaks down all that. But like I said, this is my rain suit. It has some thermals in there. extra pair of like 3 extra pairs of socks, 2 extra pairs of boxers. You know, depending on the length of my trip, this bag gets shorter or bigger. Depending, this is pretty much my max load for my camp gear. So I don't get any bigger than this. So I typically just leave it all in there. So we'll put that aside. Let's see what else we have. So in this little bag here is my hammock suspension. I was kind of have it stuffed together, but this is what I use for my hammock suspension. Like I said, I'll go into more detail on that when I do my full hammock setup. Give you a full rundown of what that looks like. Let's see what else. This is my med kit. It's a first aid kit, a sportsman's edition. I got this when I was doing a lot of hunting, especially dog hunting, as stuff I need if I need to sew something up, blister care, sprains care. Has a tourniquet in there. I mean, it's a full-on, full-fledged med kit. Even has some stuff if you get hit by a bullet to stop and clot yourself up and stuff like that. So it's pretty much overkill for what I do, but I would rather have I'd rather have it than not. So that's what I bring. I could probably save a couple ounces, but yeah. And last but not least is my top and bottom quilts. This is my top quilt, and it's made by Hammock Gear. This is a 40-degree down, 40-degree rated down quilt. They call this the Burrow. Basically, what makes this different from a sleeping bag is it has no zippers and it's only half weight. It does have some buttons at the bottom. You can make a foot box, and at the bottom of it, it has a little cinch that you can tighten and close it up if you needed to. And then after that, let's see here. This is my bottom underquilt, or bottom quilt, however you want to call it. They come with 2 S-beaners that attach it to my hammock suspension. This is a 20-degree rated quilt. Like I said, I'll go into more detail on how this is connected. So I have a 20-degree bottom quilt and a 40-degree top quilt. It gives me the most versatility, for what I do. Like I said, this is pretty much all my gear, I believe. I believe that wraps it up for. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, that's what I carry. That's what I like to do. What I carry may not work for you. Definitely before you go out into a big hike of your own, make sure that you test your gear. Go out for a day hike. Go out for an overnight hike with very low mileage. That way you can see how your gear plays out, and if it doesn't work, you can get out, and you're not sitting there struggling with you didn't bring enough food, or it's too heavy, or it doesn't work for you. You definitely want to test it out before you get yourself in that situation. Like I said, I'm going to go into a full-fledged detail about my hammock stuff, and if there's anything else you guys want to know, you definitely ask me, and I'll either make a blog post about it or do another awkward video. So until next time, man. Trying to think if I'm forgetting something. Yeah. Until next time, take it easy.